I'm Kushuful Yun. This teacher guide is about the Mindset Learn series of lessons called Film Study Example. These lessons are suitable for learners in the FET band. You may choose to use these lessons with grade 10, 11 or 12 learners depending on the competence of your learners and the purpose for which you are choosing the lessons. In this guide, we tell you what the series of lessons is about and how it links to the curriculum. We also discuss ideas for using the lessons with your learners. You may want to make notes, so have a paper and pencil ready. These lessons carry on from our series on examining a film. In this series, we put what we have learned about camera and editing techniques into practice by exploring how these techniques have been used in short films. There are 8 lessons. 1. Genres and purposes of films. 2. Introductory sequence. 3. Analyzing a character. 4. Characters in films. 5. Analyzing camera techniques. 6. Editing techniques. 7. Practicing film study. And 8. More film study practice. Through seeing how to analyze films and use the appropriate terminology to discuss them, learners will be better equipped to analyze and discuss any visual or any multimedia text. The lessons in this series all address learning outcome 2, reading and viewing. These lessons will assist learners in achieving a range of assessment standards within this outcome, including being able to explore and explain key features of text and how they contribute to meaning in visual, audio, and multimedia texts, and being able to recognize the use of visual, audio, and audiovisual techniques such as the use of color, dialogue, music, sound, lighting, editing, framing, styles of shot, camera techniques, foregrounding, and backgrounding. The learning outcome and assessment standards for each lesson are stated at the beginning of each video lesson in the series. In addition, lesson outcomes linked to these are also given in each lesson. Before showing your learners this series of lessons, it would be useful to first show them our series on examining film. Once they are familiar with basic filmmaking techniques, this series of lessons will show them how these techniques work together to create films. In this series of lessons, we analyzed 2 short films that were created as part of the Mnet New Direction series. The first film that we examine is called Come See the Bioscope. This film tells the story of Saul Blakey and his encounters with a young boy. The second short film is called Christmas with Granny, and it is about a young child reluctantly going home with his grandmother to be baptized. Although we don't show the whole films, scenes from these films are shown and are analyzed in depth. This enables learners to see how to analyze films using the correct terminology, which will help them to develop the skills and confidence to analyze other films. If possible, you'd find it useful to watch the videos by yourself before you show them to your learners. This will enable you to make notes of the places to stop the video and ask questions or have a discussion. It will also allow you to see when and how you could best incorporate the video lessons into your learning program. You could also think of activities you could do with your learners before or after watching the videos. To get learners interested in these lessons and to keep them involved, you will find it useful to get them to do the tasks and activities presented in the lesson. These tasks are linked to the learning outcomes given in the lessons and to at least one assessment standard in the curriculum policy. Completing the tasks will give both you and your learners evidence of how well they've achieved the lesson outcomes. The tasks can also be used as part of a learner's record of progress towards the assessment standards for each grade. In the case of this series of lessons, you can also apply the techniques for studying characters, introductory sequences, and filmmaking that are taught in the video to the film you are studying in class. Now let's have a more detailed look at the lessons in the series and how you can use them in your classroom. In this lesson, we learn about genres and the purposes of films. Being able to determine the genre of a film will enable learners to see how films often follow a formula and use stereotyped characters. They will also be able to work out the purpose of a film, which will help them to analyze it more effectively. To reinforce and extend this lesson, play clips of various films and see if learners can determine the genre and possible purpose of the film. Then select one film to watch in full to see if their predictions were correct and how a formula and stock characters were used. In this lesson, we watch and analyze the introductory sequence of the short film, Come See the Bioscope. This lesson encourages learners to look out for clues about the setting, characters, and time period of a film and to use this information to make predictions about the film. To build on this lesson, analyze the introductory sequence of your set film in the same way, or watch the opening of a new film. Encourage learners to make predictions and then watch the whole film as to see who was correct. The third and fourth lessons in this series focus on analyzing characters and how characters are portrayed in films. These lessons make learners aware of how we make predictions about people based on their appearance, body language, clothing, and dialogue. After going through the lessons and analyzing the characters that appear in the film, Come and See the Bioscope, you can provide learners with additional practice by playing clips from other films and getting them to analyze characters using the same criteria as we used in the video lessons. In lessons 5 and 6, we discuss the camera and editing techniques used in Come See the Bioscope, and we discuss the effects these have created. These lessons help to contextualize the theory behind filmmaking and show learners how to apply this knowledge to a film. In these lessons, we also introduce learners to a table, which is a useful tool for recording notes about any film you may be studying in class. Getting learners to complete a table such as the one we use in the lessons will help them to concentrate on the film techniques used in a film and will also provide them with a useful reference for study purposes. In the final 2 lessons in this series, we practice film study techniques. Learners often enjoy studying films in the English class, but battle to analyze films and use the terminology correctly. In the final 2 lessons in this series, we introduce them to the kinds of things they may be asked to comment on in tests or exams and the types of things they should focus on when viewing a film as a text. We then show them exactly how to study a film using Christmas with Granny as an example. After watching these lessons, it would be useful for you to set similar questions on your set film to give learners practice in watching films as a text and answering questions on them in the same way as they would answer questions on a novel or a play. We hope that you will enjoy using these lessons to prepare your learners to examine films. If you would like more information about using these lessons or lesson notes for each lesson, please refer to our website www.mindset.co.za. From me, Kushu, goodbye.